Gave me a idea to discuss today a little bit, first and foremost, about my testimony through my journey into being a Christian and some of the trials and tribulations that my life has been through being a Christian. Because people think being a Christian means that you're perfect, and it is not. We're all still human beings. We all still make mistakes. But as Christians, and from those that I know other people from, and their testimonies and their own trials and tribulations, the life of a Christian is not an easy one. It is not. Because, first and foremost, going through life as a Christian, especially when being a teenager and being a Christian and trying to follow the Christian path as best as possible and follow what the Bible says, you run into even back in the mid '90s when I went into high school. You get a lot of people. You start talking about your faith and your beliefs, and then you have those that will use that against you and uh, turn that back around, and they try to find faults. And to this day, people of the Christian faith still have that. I still have that from time to time. Not a whole lot, but I still have it. But I thought maybe today I'd talk a little bit about my testimony and and why I gave my life to God, and why I think that has shaped and molded me into the person I am today. First and foremost, I was baptized back in 1994. I was 17 years old. Oh, take that back. 16 years old. 16 years old. It's before my 17th birthday because my birthday falls late in the year. And was a regular churchgoer ever since I was a young child, as far back as I remember. My mom or my dad, my dad, I should say, would get me up, all get dressed, and go to church as a family. Even when we moved out here, and the struggle for us when we moved out to Texas was finding a good church home. My mother wasn't too keen on large churches. She preferred small churches, small community churches. And we found a home with a good Sunday school, with a good youth group, and we decided to stick with it. And I was going through a point in my life where, as far as how I felt, I knew Jesus was God, and I knew that I wanted to have eternal life with Him after I pass away. So in 1994, because I was struggling through high school, and then I was at that point in '94. I was picking everything up. I started high school in '91, but then around that time, I was a junior, and I knew that I needed help and I needed guidance, and I started turning to the Lord, and it has helped out immensely because during the first year of high school, I totally screwed up any chances for scholarships, going to college immediately. But to be honest with you, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And that's another reason why I turned to the Lord. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was asking, well, what do I need to do? What is it out there that I can make a difference for people? So I was talking to my mom on the way home from church, and I told her I feel like that I have been saved, and I want to be baptized. So the following Sunday, I got with my pastor, talked it over, and then a couple of weeks after that, I was baptized. And somewhere in my mom's house, I still have the certificate of when I was baptized. And I wish I could have it for the show, but unfortunately I don't. But it's a day I'll never forget. It's a day my life turned around, or so I thought it would. Uh, Throughout the rest of my high school, everything turned out great. I felt the Lord helped me and guided me through the directions I was taking to make it through high school. Um, and then in 1999, I met my first wife, and we started dating. And I felt like God has sent her, and this was the one. And then things didn't start turning rocky for us until we lived together. And then shortly after that, after we were married, we separated. At that time, my first wife was carrying my first son, and I went into a downward spiral for probably a good 6, 7 months. I don't want to say it was a depression. I was depressed, but I didn't go into a deep depression where I needed medication. One thing I can say I'm very proud of and thankful for is that I didn't let it spiral out of control to where I had to take medications. I never took medications for depression, and I, at that point, was in a situation where I didn't know where my faith stood with God, because there was a point where I was angry. I was angry at God for this, and I was hurt, and I was hurt with God because I felt like I was like, why did this happen to me? Why, especially with a son on the way. And I blamed everyone. I even blamed God, and that in my life made me fall out of you know not even going to church, not reading my Bible, and I just fell out with my faith. And then later on that year, right before the holidays, in 2001, I started reading my Bible again because it didn't really matter what my parents told me. There was very little of it that I could find that could give me peace. And then I started reading my Bible, and then I felt like at that point in my life, God was doing his best to help me find peace. So I got back into doing that. I found a different church to go to. I felt like I needed to be around people again, and and not just anyone, but fellow Christians to help lift me up. And at that point, I met a couple of good friends and was in another group for young men, young adults, I should say, because the group it was mostly men. There were a couple of women in there, but it was a young adult group, and they all helped lift me up. I gave my story as to my struggles over the past not quite year, almost. This was, like I said, this was close to Christmas. Um, and then I got myself up, and I got myself out, and I stopped doing the whole woe is me thing, and I got back myself. I dug myself out of a hole that my life was in. Then the next tragedy in my life happened about a year later. In 2002, one day after Christmas, my father passed away from multiple myeloma. They were going to do stem cell research for him. They were going to try stem cell, but he was way too weak. And then it happened again. I felt like, 2 years ago, about 2 years, little over 2 years ago, my first wife leaves me, and then now my father passes away. And then I started going through that downward spiral again. And it got to the point where during that time, while my dad was sick, I started drinking more than I usually would. I have an occasional beer here and there, but an old high school friend and I, we hung out a lot at that time. Because he was one of the only two or three people that really stayed in the same city where I live. So I hung out with him a lot, and I relied on him a lot. And we, went out drinking. Um, we hung out with kind of shady people. Thankfully, I didn't get involved with any, drug-related thing. It was just mainly alcohol. But and then I started feeling like I felt like garbage during and right after the fact my dad passed away. And then my faith took another hit. I started blaming God for taking away my dad. I started blaming the doctors that I felt like mishandled or mistreated him. Or not like mistreated like physically, but I felt like they could do more. I felt like the doctors could do more. And so I went on another downward spiral just like I did when my first wife left. And so I just had to pick up the pieces again. I knew what I had to do. In the back of my mind, I knew what I had to do to get out of it. Again, I didn't go into no depression, deep depression to where I needed medications, but it was just a downward spiral. And it took me probably a good 3 or 4 months, but I picked myself back up and I said, look, I can't keep doing this. Um, Fortunately for me, I willed myself to stop drinking for a long period. We're talking about 7, 8 months. I didn't have a drop to drink because there was one time during that moment I got so drunk, I came home, passed out, and I felt like garbage that entire day. I have only been severely drunk in my life maybe 3 or 4 times, and that's it. 3 or 4 times. And the last time was long time ago. It has to be about like 13, 14 years ago, last time it happened. But again, I found myself back to reading the Bible on a recommendation from an old church friend. Told me to read a passage. I started reading that, and then I borrowed one of my mom's extra devotionals, started doing that regularly, and I picked myself back up. So that was another example of how I dropped out of my faith, but thankfully, quickly, I got back into it. And I'm very, very thankful for that because I don't know what else I would do without my beliefs and my faith in Jesus Christ, or where I would be. Now it comes to present day. Presently, my relationship with God is strong, but I know in my heart it can be stronger. I don't go to church. My wife and I don't go to church as much as what we used to, especially because of the pandemic. But we do our best to try to find time for God. I read devotionals, and as some of you guys know, especially if you follow me on Twitter, I retweet out passages, and those passages are from daily devotionals that I read from a Bible app. And I like to share stuff like that because it's kind of a testament of who I am and who I really am, and why my faith with God will never be wavered. As I get older, I do realize that time is short, life is short, and my time on earth is not long. Nobody's time on earth is not long, especially if you look at the average age of a human being. Um, and it takes a lot to make you realize what you need to do to straighten out your act. And for me, um, those two examples right there made me realize that, I'm glad that I had people like either my parents or good friends who looked after me after tragedies in my life have happened, or I don't know where I would be. And I'm very, very thankful. Those people include my mother, my father, my wife's uncle, who at the time was one of my good friends. Uh, One of my high school friends, his name is Scott. He was there for me probably more than anyone else outside of family whenever I was down, especially when my dad passed away. Um, Going back to my wife's uncle, he was there for me a lot when my first wife left me. And by the way, I don't mind sharing about that either. My first wife left me because, again, when we started, everything was good for us the entire time we dated. Um, we got engaged and were set to marry within the first year of our relationship. So it was a whirlwind relationship. I mean, it was very, very fast, and that's probably one of the reasons why our relationship went in such a downfall, because it was a quick. We didn't really spend enough time. I feel to this day we didn't spend enough time together to really get to know each other. And then when we started living together, that's when things started going downhill. Is communication. It was nothing physical or verbal. It was just a huge communication breakdown. And I'm not saying it was my fault or her fault. It was on both of us. It was on both of us. It just did not work out. So, but it happened, and it's really hard for me to say if I were to take things back, I would not wind up with her because I wouldn't have my first son. He is 19 now, and I still love him as much as I love my 5-year-old and my 10-month-old daughter. There is no difference in the amount of love that I have for him that I have for the others. So I just am very, very thankful that and grateful that I have friends, family, and my faith in Jesus Christ to rely on when the going gets tough. And I feel like everybody should have someone or something to rely on. I've been through 3 back surgeries. I've had someone there to rely on, whether it be my wife, whether it be my father. He was there before he passed away that summer when I had my first back surgery in 2002. And after my last back surgery, almost 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years ago this coming December, friends that I met on Twitch who, a little over half of them I don't speak to anymore because we had a falling out, but that doesn't mistake the fact that they were there to pick me up when I could have been in another dark place because the recovery was so long. We're talking, my last back surgery was a recovery period from early December to late February was when I went back to work. So December, January, February, we're talking almost 3 months. And when I thought I wasn't going to get back to work because of, you know, red tape between the company that handles the leave of absence and where I was working, Um, it just took a longer process than what it should have been. And I had them to rely on, and I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful for that. But, guys, my advice with giving you my testimony in, going through struggles as human beings, you're going to have it. You have to be, I don't want to say mentally prepared, because you can't really be mentally prepared for any bad thing that happens in your life. However, what you can do is seek refuge and hang on to the people that you care about, whether it be family, good friends, or someone out there, someone from groups, or someone from church, wherever. Um, and if you don't have that, there's always the alternative, and that's seeking refuge to the Bible. Um, Again, with my testimonies through my Christian faith, and how I have fallen out a handful of times because of everything that has happened. I always knew where to go in the back of my mind, and that is why I'm glad that I have the Bible to turn to seek refuge to for peace of mind and peace for my soul. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much it for this episode. Actually, there is one more thing. Very good Monday Night Football game. I had the Ravens winning, and unfortunately, but Kansas City won. To me, that could have been a pick 'em. Hey, Nightbreeze, thank you for the follow, and thank you for being here. I hope you're doing well. It's been a long time, buddy. Hope you're well. And thank you for stopping by, man. Appreciate that. But going back to what I was just mentioning, yeah, I do, Nightbreeds. Yeah, from BDT's channel. I sure do. I hope you've been well, man. Thank you for coming by, and thank you for the refollow. I appreciate that. Um, but going back to the Monday Night Football game, I had the Ravens, but the Chiefs won in pretty well fashion. They dominated that game, no doubt. But realistically, that game was a pick 'em. Two young quarterbacks, and you know, with two decent defenses, high-powered offensive teams. So really, it could have been a pick 'em. It just depends on what side of the coin you wanted to choose. I chose the Ravens only because I know in Lamar Jackson's career he was 0-2, and I figured this was time for him to get a win against the Chiefs. But unfortunately, it was not. The Ravens were not prepared for it. So kudos to the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs, for winning. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, congratulations to them on winning the Stanley Cup. Kind of bummed out the Dallas Stars, my Dallas Stars, because I am a Dallas Stars fan, did not win the Stanley Cup, a second Stanley Cup. Would have been great to see that happen again in my life. But there's always next season. But congratulations to Tampa Bay. I know a few very, very good friends who are Tampa Bay Lightning fans, so I know that they're extremely excited, and I'm happy for them. Anyway, Nightbreeds, it's all good, bud. I don't know. I mean, some of the people that I follow on Twitch, for whatever reason or another, my follows drop out. I think it's almost like Twitter. I mean, sometimes your follows drop off for no reason. So I have no idea. But it's good to see you back, and it's good to have you back in the Sith Knight Army, my friend. Welcome back. All right, guys, that is today. That is today's episode of Daily DarkSide. We will be back again for the next episode of Daily DarkSide tomorrow morning, once again at 7 a.m. Tonight, I might be back. Might do a stream for you guys because I do not work tomorrow. So I'll probably do another stream for you guys. I don't really know what I'll be streaming at this point, but I guess you'll find out when I come back tonight. Um, Speaking of YouTube, Nightbreeds in my Twitch chat mentioned YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I'll be uploading this episode on YouTube. So go check out my YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. Got plenty of content on there. Past episodes of Daily DarkSide. Some gameplay from Star Wars The Old Republic, which is mainly the game I play consistently on Twitch, and which is another game I need to get back into. So that might be what we play tonight. And a couple of episodes of ECW Revival, which is my wrestling eFed, which will return soon, guys. Soon. Thank you, Nightbreeds. And also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you got a Twitter page. And, of course, Discord. If you guys have Discord, have the Discord app, and want to join another awesome community, come on aboard. Those are on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Twitch, I'm here live right now. I'm about to sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I will be back with another episode of Daily DarkSide tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., and those watching on YouTube, if you want to see me live for some semi-awesome gameplay, semi-pro, semi-awesome gameplay, come on by my channel. Be great to have you. Old and new followers alike. Greatly appreciate all the support. As always, may the force be with you guys. I will see you all tonight for some gameplay. Take care, guys. Enjoy your Tuesday. Be safe. I will see you tonight.